education of sex at an age where you should be completely ignorant. You should be completely oblivious to it. I mean, this preoccupation with it, I didn't think it was right. I never did. I thought, isn't there more to life than just talking about sex, sex, sex all the time? You have to sort of grow up quick. So you're in the kitchen washing dishes and a guy comes up and hugs you and starts groping at your breasts and starts squeezing your bum and slobbering all over your neck, and you just learn to grin and bear it. That's what it's all about. It was so open. People would have a party, people would strip and start, having sex in the bedrooms. One time when I was 11, there was this party going on. And they started to have these sort of like strip dance things. And they wanted us kids to do it too. So some of the kids went ahead and did it. And they tried to get me to strip as well. I was so scared. I was shitting myself. I thought, these people could do anything to me. These people could do anything they want. And I can't do anything because I'm only little. Because I'm only a child. So I got, honey, why don't you share your body? God gave you such a beautiful body, They tried to get into your brain and tell you that Jesus wants you to do it. And I said, no, I don't want to. And I went into the loo, and I locked myself in the loo, and I cried my eyes out. I was sitting in a room with the children in it, our room, like with our bunk beds and so on. And I was wearing a night dress, and he just started, fondling me and so on. And I felt very guilty about it. I just tried to forget it. It was only one incident, but I was only 7. I was very young, and it disturbed me quite a bit.
When I was about 9.5, he started to abuse me. I don't know, he used to drink a lot. I don't know if it was the influence of the cog and mixed with the alcohol and the mollitters, but he seemed to get off on abusing me and coming in my bedroom at nights and bothering me. It was really horrible because he controlled me in every way, because he also he disciplined me, and he spanked me and slapped me and stuff and showed his authority over me. But then at nights it was something else. He had me as if I was his woman or something, And I never talked to him about it. I was really scared, and I was really scared to tell my parents too.
appreciate your beauty that often. So. Yeah. We're just showing how we live down here. We love you. Love you. Love you. Daddy, I love you. I hope you're here right here next to me. I'm dreaming about you tonight. Tonight. I love you so much, especially when you said you kissed my sexy lips. I just love that. Good night, Maggie. We love you. Love you. Good night, Maggie. We love you. Love you. Good night, Maggie. We love you. Love you. Good night, Maggie. We love you. Love you.
Fletcher fishing was considered going to the ultimate to win a soul for Christ. If he's hungry, you'll feed him, and then it goes on even further. If he needs sex, you'll give him that too, if that's what it takes to win him.
Was this literally going out to bars or to hotels to pick up men?
It sounds rather crude that way, because when you're sincere, you didn't look on it that way. You looked like you were going out and you're going to, by your physical charms, attract someone and talk to them. And if you could win them for Christ without giving them everything, that was so much, but as far as I'm concerned, that was so much the better. But there were occasions in which it went all the way. A lot of the homes turned into pretty much brothels. It was like the old temple worship. You know, the girls were just there.
And if the men gave you money, then that was fine?
Yeah. In fact, there was a letter that came out which said, make it pay. In other words, if you're girls, if you're giving them everything, theirs will pay you.
And your husband and your children all knew that you were having to do this flirty fishing?
Well, yes, they did. I must say again, it was rare in my case, actually. It was rare. But on the rare occasions, they did know. I thought the children didn't, but they did.
lipstick on, I knew.
How old were you then?
I was between the ages of about 7 and 10. That was the worst times. That's when she went out the most. I felt rotten. I couldn't believe it. I felt betrayed by my own mother, you know. that I should be away and come back and not see her there. I just felt, especially seeing that she was with another man, that was even worse. I asked her, I said, Mom, did you sleep in the same room as this man, or did you sleep in separate rooms? And she said, mind your own business. And it just cut me up into little pieces, you know. I just felt awful because I knew what the answer was. I knew that she was with him.
Because I was young, the leaders would go after me. And I would have to share with the leaders, which was worse. Because I probably could refuse another person and maybe get told off by it, but I could not refuse a leader.
So as soon as you were 15, the leaders of the group would force you to have sex?
Yes, I had to. It made me feel really, I don't know, really unclean. There was one particular incident that was very unpleasant. That Richie was 10 months and he got spanked by the shepherds of the home he lived in. And she was really cruel to him. She kept spanking him until he stopped crying, you know. And I felt like rushing at her and slapping her, but because I was under such control, I couldn't do anything about it. I just had to stare and watch my kid being spanked really hard on the bottom. He was only 10 months old.
Traumatic, very traumatic. I was relocated like every 6 to 10 months, and because he was a pedophile. 5 years old, I remember we used to have like dress-up nights, or theme nights, and everybody would dress up, and the children and adult members were all included. Everybody would, you know, participate. And at the end of the night, the grandpa would come in and have sex with all the women, one by one. From, you know, starting from adults to the children, or children adults, whichever way it would go. Now imagine, they fall asleep in your bed, and drunk David Bird comes in the middle of the night because meaning his granddaughter won't suck him that night, and he has to beat the shit out of her and make her black and blue bruised, and rebukes the demons out of her and send her home to be suppressed, so he had to drink. So come into my room and Texas room, who is his stepdaughter, and drive us out of our beds and fuck us, And then if we were crying because we were tired and he'd make us try to drink wine and we didn't want to drink wine and we're just like crying and crying. And then imagine our mother the next day punishing us for that. We were getting punished at age 10 or 11 because we would not have consensual sex with the guru when he was drunk because his granddaughter had demons in her and wouldn't fuck him.
Yes, we were gathered at the river, the beautiful river. Yes, we were gathered at the river, the beautiful river. Yes, we were gathered at the river, the beautiful river. Yes, we were gathered at the river.
You see, because my parents were brainwashed at this point as well, they believed that, God could have healed her, but, but the Lord decided to take her home because she was too good for this world and all this. I think she had a lot to offer to this world, and I feel very cheated, and I wish she were alive today. She couldn't go out in the hot sunshine because it exaggerated all her symptoms, so she was very, very bored. And she'd read a lot of books. Now, we were not allowed in the group to read books. It was considered time-wasting and worldly. And my husband was very legalistic about this book-reading business. He said, we're not supposed to read books. And so in the end, we were having these big arguments about it. So she wrote to Berg himself a letter saying, that I've got this illness, I'm home all day, and I'd like to read books. My mum says I can, and my dad says I can't. And this letter was printed with a comment by Berg afterwards and saying, well, perhaps lupus is the answer. In other words, implying that because she was disobedient in reading books, that was why she got sick. Absolutely devastated her. We were encouraged in the group not to take any kind of medicine. We were not forbidden, but you felt that if you did take it, you were failing somehow. You felt really guilty. And she felt guilty that she was actually totally dependent upon drugs because she'd feel so ill without them. And because of this guilt trip they put you on, the poor girl would feel totally inadequate. She felt she was failing God. What had she done wrong? What have I done wrong? She would pray and feel really dreadful. My sister was really sick and she'd been unconscious for about 3 days and she was sitting on a big chair right here, a big soft chair right here. And I was feeding her some soup. And I was the only one in the room and she just died right there. She just breathed everything out. And I remember just standing here going like this, standing here and just couldn't believe it. I was just like, I just couldn't move. I just froze to this piece of wall right here, just looking, but not knowing what to do. And I felt so bad that my mom had to come in and find out that she died, And then Mom came in, and I was in such a horrible state. I just walked out, and I had to go out of the house. I couldn't stay in the house. And one of the worst shocks that has ever happened in my life was when I walked back in and I was going to the kitchen and I had a look in the room. It was about that. The door was about that much open and I saw my sister's body lying on the bed with her head covered with a sheet, and that was just absolutely horrible. That was really terrible. There was a lot of trauma, really. It was hell on earth. dream he had about Shuly. He went to heaven, and according to him, he saw Shuly there. And of course, his perverted mind went into, oh yes, and I had sex with Shuly in heaven, you know. And he went into some very gory details. And I remember I was extremely offended. And my sister Debbie, myself and Victoria, we got together and we thought, what a pervert. How dare he talk about our dead sister like this? How dare he?
I need the puppies.